Hey there. So, we all know that AI agents are very powerful and they generate very large level of text response which will actually make any human to understand very clearly. But sometimes they're often very messy and also they are very difficult to understand. So that's why they often generate messy outputs, hallucinate data or return responses which are difficult for systems to process automatically. So how do we make these agents reliable? So in this video, I will exactly show you how you can actually implement agent guardrails using structured valid schema, and it returns output in a JSON format using OpenClaw and Python-based analysis and schema validation to ensure reliability and machine readable output. So for this, I will open my partial here. Okay, and as we can see in our partial, basically we have to run the gateway server. Okay, so we have to run our gateway server here. So this is our gateway. We have to first run our gateway server, and after you have run the gateway server, this is the first step to do. Okay, so after you have made this, the next step is now basically you have to create a Yeah, so you have to basically create a sales data analysis. Okay, so whenever you create a sales data, what you will have in that? So let's see. So whenever you create a sales data, basically, I will open this. So you will have date, product, region, revenue, and all. Okay. So if you use this data, the agent can perform several analysis, which is including total revenue, top selling product, revenue comparison, and revenue trends over time. So now this is our sales data. Okay. So after we have created the sales data, now we are going to run this command. We have to give the main agent what it has to do. So it has to analyze the sales data from the project, and it has given me the first 5 rows here, and it has also given me a descriptive statistics, calculated the metrics of everything here, and it also displayed me like what specific aspects it wants. So now I can basically run another command like product performance I want. Okay, it has given me product performance, then compare the region revenue. Okay, so this is the region revenue, and then what is the top selling product. So this is the top selling product, and then analyzing the revenues over the time. So these are some of the like examples through which we can see like the product has generated the highest revenue and the north region produced the highest regional revenue. Now this is basically like a structured output, right? So if you want to ensure reliable automation, we enforce a structured output using JSON format. Now this is okay. We got in the output in the form of structured format. Now, if you really want to guardrail the AI agent in the JSON format, we need to follow a strict response, which actually looks something like this. Scroll at the bottom, you can see it has to look like this. What is the task, result, revenue by region, revenue trend, and whatever metrics we have calculated at the top, everything must be available here. So how we are going to do is basically, in order to avoid the hallucinations, we run the analysis using Python and pandas library here. Okay, so how you can do that? So basically, whenever you want to run using pandas and Python library, you can basically give a script like analyze the data in JSON field. It has given you a script, right? You can just copy and paste it here, or else if you don't want that, you can simply go and create a script here. Okay, so for creating a script, what you need to do, you need to install basically sudo apt update and sudo apt install python 3. This is the command you have to run. Okay, so to run this command, it will ask you for a password and then you can enter it. It will install it automatically. After it gets installed, you have to basically analyze your sales data. So what it happens basically is that whenever the script reads the CSV file, it computes the results using deterministic code. So to avoid hallucinated calculations, we run this analysis using the Python and Pandas library. So after this, we need a JSON scheme validation. So what we can do to improve the reliability, we can validate the output using JSON schema. So how we can do using JSON schema? Basically, we need to run a command named as pip install JSON schema. Okay. So after you run the command of pip install JSON schema, we need to define a schema that enforces the structure of the response. So now this is the schema. Okay. This is the schema through which we need that our output should be valid. So it will open our schema in a JSON format, and then after it enters the output in JSON format, it accordingly validates whether our output is valid according to schema So now we can see whether our output is valid according to the schema or not. So basically, we can see that as I have said, whenever you want to check your output is valid or not, you can just open your schema.json and then you can load the output accordingly here to check whether your output is valid according to the schema or not. So this is basically one of the steps you can ensure that whether your output is valid or not. Basically, we are not using any kind of uh, multi-agents. So for multi-agents, what you can actually do here is that if you exit here, okay, now I'll just execute this. Whenever you execute this, it's coming that output is valid according to schema. So basically what it is showing that you can read your schema file and then you can accordingly execute it. Now I can actually tell you that how you can actually use a planner executor for the guardrail. So whenever you want to use planner executor for guardrail, so basically what I'm going to do is that this basically will separate your thinking between thinking, doing, and controlling, which makes your agents more reliable and less prone to errors. So, planner is basically responsible for thinking and creating a plan. So, whenever you want to create a planner here, basically what you are going to do is that you are basically first creating a guardrail.md file. So, in guardrail.md, you have to give the constraints to the agent that what you should do. We should always return in JSON. You should not output plain text and all these things. So whenever you want to actually do some kind of operations, you can basically use the planner and executor. This is basically a planner. So you want to validate your data accordingly to the schema. So for example, I give that analyze the sales data and generate a report. So it planner does not execute anything. It only decides what should be done. So this will not execute anything, right? This only decides what you need to actually do here. It only shows that how you need the format of JSON. Okay, so if I want to run this, for example, I want to run this one. Okay, so let's try running this, and as we can see, we can not open, but yeah, you can accordingly run this and check how you can actually validate it. So yeah, I did not give any kind of output response, but it has basically validated it. Okay, so whenever you want to give an output, you can give the output and do accordingly. So basically, whenever you want to use an executor, it performs the actual work defined by the plan. So rough executor can be running code, calling APIs, and processing data. So if planner decides you have to load CSV and analyze the revenue, the executor will run the code like this. So basically, why we need to guardrails? We need to ensure both the planner and executor behave correctly and safely here, right? So this tree structure is very very important. So every time whenever you see tree structure, this has to contain your according prompts, guardrails, schemas, and validators. So these four things are very very important. Please note this down. Okay, they are very very important. So that's why whenever you want a validation schema, the guardrails rule should always match the validation schema. So let's say I say that agent must return in JSON output. Example validation should be it the type can be object and properties are task, result, confidence score, and whatever I give, it will result in a structured JSON format which I have already shown in the guardrail. Accordingly, you can make the architecture for planner and executor in similar way. That's why if we want to use OpenClaw for these kind of tasks, we have to ensure that our workflow contains the executor and the guardrails. Okay, executor and guardrails are more important. You can either add a planner or not, but basically your executor and guardrails must contain your constraints. So your Python script basically is a kind of executor. Your guardrails are basically structuring your output. Okay, what is the executor here? See, your executor here is, so your executor here is the this file, okay, the Python file, whatever you are giving, okay, and your guardrail is basically into structured format. See how structured format it has given me, right? It has given me the confidence score, date, revenue, revenue trend, revenue by region. So that's why this architecture is very important for guardrail. So modern AI systems use this pattern because it separates your reasoning from execution, reduces hallucination, improves reliability, and allows your tool integration. That's why whenever you want to integrate guardrail in the AI agent, always remember the executor performs actions and these guardrails enforce your safety and structured outputs. Accordingly, you can So accordingly, you can use your security guardrails to prevent unsafe actions. For examples, blocking sensitive data, limiting file access, restricting the commands. So in this way, you can also ensure that your planner executor guardrails, agent architecture, planner decides the task and executor performs actions and guardrails enforce their safety and structured output. So in this way, you can use that your modern AI systems will separate the reasoning from execution, reduce hallucination, improves reliability, and allows your tool integration. And this framework exactly uses the idea for OpenAI tool calling agents, LangChain agents, Microsoft AutoGen, and even OpenClaw multi-agent systems. So in this way, you can integrate your AI agent accordingly using guardrails to ensure only a structured JSON output format using a valid schema. So that's all from my side. Thank you.